I'm Angela Winters, 35, and last year I sold my tech company for $1 billion. My younger sister, Vanessa, was always the golden child, the stunning one. My husband, Derek, was the suave venture capitalist who won my heart. I never imagined they'd try to kill me. The memory still chills me, Vanessa whispering, "Say hello to the sharks," as she pushed me off our yacht into the dark Pacific. Derek just stood there, smirking. They didn't see what was coming next. Before I share this wild story, drop your location in the comments below. Hit subscribe for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and comeback. You won't believe how this ends. I grew up in Seattle with Vanessa, 3 years my junior. We were opposites from the start. I was the serious, studious one, she was the charming extrovert. I spent weekends coding on our family computer while Vanessa won beauty pageants and charmed everyone. Our parents, both high school teachers, tried to support us both. But Vanessa always stole the spotlight. They glowed with pride at her performances, while my academic wins got polite nods. They loved me, but Vanessa's charisma was magnetic, something I never quite grasped. At 12, I found my passion for tech. My computer science teacher, Mrs. Harlow, saw my potential. She gave me tough projects and taught me advanced coding after school. "You're gifted, Angela," she said. "Your mind is special." Those words carried me through hard times. College was tough financially. I juggled 3 jobs, morning coffee shifts, afternoon library work, and weekend tech support, to fund my computer science degree at the University of Washington. Vanessa got a partial scholarship for communications, backed by our parents' savings. I didn't mind. She had a knack for making her dreams feel worth supporting. I barely slept in those years. When I wasn't working or studying, I coded in my tiny apartment, building an algorithm that became my company's core. I was obsessed with creating AI that could read human emotions online. Experts called it impossible, but that just fueled my drive. After graduating, I worked a mid-level coding job but kept tinkering on my project at night. 3 years later, I built the Emotional Intelligence Interface, or EI, a game changer. It analyzed texts, voices, and online behavior to understand emotions and respond perfectly. I quit my job and started NeuroSync with my $60,000 savings. The first 2 years were brutal. Investors loved my demo but balked when they saw a young woman with no business experience leading it. "Impressive, but too risky," they'd say. I nearly gave up. While I struggled, Vanessa chased modeling in Los Angeles. She was gorgeous but too short for high fashion at 5 feet 7 inches. She'd call me crying about unpaid rent or car repairs. Despite my own tight budget, I always sent money. "You're my safety net, Prissy," she'd say, using my old nickname. NeuroSync's big break came when my algorithm spotted early depression signs in social media users during a test. Suddenly, its health potential was clear, and investors chased me. In 18 months, we grew from 3 to over 100 employees, with a $50 million valuation. That's when I met Derek Hamilton at a San Francisco tech conference. He was tall, handsome, polished, everything I wasn't. As an AI venture capitalist, he asked smart questions about my work. Unlike others who belittled me, Derek seemed genuinely curious about me and my tech. He chased me hard, flowers at my office, chance meetings at events, and finally dinner. I'd never prioritized dating, but his persistence won me over. Our third date's kiss stirred feelings I'd long ignored. We moved fast. In 8 months, we married on the California coast. Vanessa, my maid of honor, cried happy tears. "You deserve this joy," she said, hugging me. I believed her, thinking our sibling rivalry was gone. Derek dove into my life, offering business tips and connections. He even pushed to be NeuroSync's COO. I hesitated, and for a moment, his eyes turned cold. He quickly softened, saying, "You built this. I just want to help." I thought he respected my boundaries, not seeing his calculated retreat. Then Tech Global offered $1 billion for Neurosync. It was mind-blowing. My board pushed me to take it, saying their resources would globalize my tech. After tough talks, I agreed, ensuring my team's safety and ethical use of my AI. When the deal closed, Derek threw a party at home. During our champagne toast, I caught a strange glance between him and Vanessa, who'd flown in. It was quick, odd but not alarming. I was too dazzled by the $1 billion. From a Seattle kid working 3 jobs, I was now among America's richest women. I didn't know the price I'd pay. 18 months into marriage, 6 months post-sale, Derek changed. The man who couldn't stay away took frequent business trips. His sweet texts dwindled. He'd whisper on calls in other rooms. I chalked it up to the fading honeymoon phase. We were both busy. Then Vanessa started visiting our San Francisco mansion often. "Modeling's dead now," she said, asking to stay a few weeks to figure things out. Weeks became months. I welcomed her, hoping to reconnect as sisters, free from old rivalries. I missed how close she and Derek got. Their inside jokes, their talk stopping when I entered. I saw Derek's hand linger on her shoulder or back too often. One night, I came home early to find them hunched over his laptop in his study. They jumped apart, and he shut it fast. "Just showing Vanessa investments," he said smoothly. I nodded, but it felt wrong. That night, I checked our network logs, a security step I'd set up. Derek had accessed our joint accounts, the ones with my billion-dollar funds, focusing on transfer limits and international banking rules. Over breakfast, I confronted Derek. "Are our finances okay? I saw you checking large transfers." His face stayed calm, but his coffee cup froze midair. "Just routine planning," he said smoothly. "With our wealth, we need smart asset moves." He flashed a smile. "Finance isn't your thing, Angela. Let me handle it." He was right, I wasn't a money expert, but his dismissive tone set off alarms. For the first time, I questioned who I'd married. That afternoon, I called Martin Reeves, a private investigator my old security chief trusted. "I need background checks on 2 people," I said quietly. While waiting for his report, I watched Derek and Vanessa closely. They kept finding reasons to be alone, shopping trips, long beach walks. Twice, I faked work calls to eavesdrop, but their vague talk gave nothing away. 3 days later, Martin called. "Mrs. Hamilton, your husband's past is troubling," he said cautiously. "Before you, he was nearly broke, failed investments, gambling debts. High-interest loans got paid off right after your wedding." My stomach nodded. "And my sister?" I asked. "Vanessa has major credit card debt and recent cash deposits, $100,000, into an offshore account. The source is unclear." I hung up, reeling in my home office. Derek, the man I thought was solid, was a fraud? And where was Vanessa getting that money? I acted fast. Posing as a security upgrade, I hid cameras in the mansion, including Derek's study. I gave the staff a paid week off, saying Derek and I wanted anniversary privacy. The first 2 days, the cameras showed nothing odd. On day 3, I told Derek I'd be at a Tech Global meeting all day. I left for 2 hours, then parked nearby, watching the security feed on my tablet. My worst fears came true. In Derek's study, he and Vanessa pored over my financial statements and not in a lover's embrace, as I'd half feared, but plotting. "How soon can we get the money?" Vanessa asked. Derek tapped a document. "Your sisters will name you sole heir since we have no kids. Her succession plan gives control instantly upon death. We'll have it all in days." Vanessa's smile turned icy. "No body in the open ocean. Perfect accident." "Next week's yacht trip is our shot," Derek said. "It's now or never." My hands shook, I nearly dropped the tablet. My husband and sister planned to kill me for my fortune. The betrayal was crushing. I drove for hours, my mind a blur. I wanted to scream at them, demand answers for their cruelty. But survival instincts stopped me. Confronting them could speed up their plan, or worse. That night, I played normal, smiling through dinner as Derek pitched our second honeymoon, a yacht trip down the Mexican coast. Sounds amazing, I said, faking excitement. Just us? Vanessa chimed in. Derek invited me. Hope that's okay. I've always wanted to see the Mexican Riviera. I searched her eyes for the sister who once promised to protect me. I saw only a stranger. Of course, I said. The three of us will be fun. Lying beside Derek that night, his calm breathing haunted me. How could he sleep while plotting murder? I had 6 days to prepare for a trip meant to end my life. The Azure Dream was a stunning 80-foot yacht, 4 staterooms, a hot tub, a crew of 6. It should have thrilled me. Instead, boarding in San Diego Harbor felt like stepping toward my execution. I'd prepared carefully. I told my assistant, Jane, my fears, giving her a sealed envelope to open if I went silent for 3 days. I turned on device tracking and set up an emergency email to alert key people if I didn't log in within 48 hours. I also hid $10 million in a secret account Derek couldn't touch. The first days on the yacht felt fake, sunbathing, swimming, dining on gourmet meals. The crew's presence seemed to delay their plan, witnesses kept me safe. By day 4, we were 100 miles from land, in open water, as Captain Rodriguez noted. That evening, Vanessa suggested the crew take a night off from serving dinner. Derek agreed fast, sending them to their quarters. On night 5, Derek handed me a colorful cocktail with a pineapple slice. Special recipe, he said. Extra strong, just how you like it. I faked a sip, spilling it discreetly. Delicious, I said, setting it aside as he made Vanessa's. Over the hour, I acted drowsy, slurring words, stumbling. I need to lie down, I mumbled, swaying on purpose. Derek grabbed my waist, guiding me to our cabin. His care had eagerness I could feel. On the bed, I played drugged, eyes half open, watching. He tested me, waving a hand, calling my name. Thinking I was out, he locked the door and left. I waited 15 minutes, then crept to the door, ear pressed against it. Derek and Vanessa's voices drifted through the vents. Is she out? She asked. Completely, Derek said. Enough sedative to drop someone twice her size. She won't stir. Good, Vanessa replied. Crew's below watching soccer. We've got an hour. I changed into dark athletic gear and water-resistant shoes hidden in my bag. I strapped on a waterproof pouch with a GPS beacon, cash, and a satellite phone. Slipping back into bed, I posed as drugged as footsteps neared. Derek and Vanessa entered. Time to move her, he said. Make it look like she sleepwalked or fell drunk. As they neared, I decided, no victim's exit. I sat up fast. Looking for something? I asked, voice steady despite my pounding heart. Their shock was almost funny. Derek recovered, faking concern. Angela, you're awake. You okay? You were out of it. Vanessa froze, eyes flicking between us. Cut the act, I said, standing. I heard it all, your plan to drug me, toss me overboard, the will, the money. Silence hung heavy. Vanessa's face twisted, her sweet mask gone, replaced by bitter scorn. Always the smart one, huh? She spat. Perfect Angela with her brilliant brain and billions. How long? I asked, glaring at them. How long have you planned this? Derek shrugged, his charm gone. Since before the wedding. Marriage was the easiest way to your money. I turned to Vanessa, her betrayal cutting deepest. Please, Vanessa sneered. You have no idea what it's like in your shadow. Poor Vanessa, never as smart, never as successful, always begging, always pitted. I deserve a piece of your fortune. We're sisters. So you'd spill my blood for money, I shot back, the words sour on my tongue. Enough, Derek growled, stepping toward me. This changes nothing but the plan. No one will hear you out here. I backed toward the door, but Vanessa blocked it fast. Derek lunged, I dodged, sending him crashing into the bedside table. I slipped past Vanessa, sprinting to the deck, aiming for the crew's quarters and safety. I reached the main deck, screaming for help, but the yacht's engines drowned me out, the crew too far off. Derek tackled me, his weight stealing my breath. Grab her arms, he barked at Vanessa, who pinned my wrists. I fought hard, kicking Derek's stomach, making him double over. I broke free from Vanessa and scrambled to the railing, hoping to jump and swim to the crew's side. But Derek was too quick. He grabbed my hair, yanking me back so hard my vision blurred. Together, they dragged me to the yacht's edge. I clawed at them, scratching Derek's cheek, fighting with the desperation of someone staring at death. For a split second, I saw a flicker in Vanessa's eyes, my old sister, maybe. Vanessa, please, I gasped. We're family. Her face turned cold. She leaned close, her breath hot on my ear. Say hello to the sharks, Prissy, she whispered, then shoved me hard. Her hands hit my chest, and I fell, Derek's smirk and Vanessa's icy stare fading above me. The water hit like concrete, slamming my back from 20 feet up. Cold swallowed me, flooding my nose and mouth as I sank. The yacht's engines roared above, its lights fading through the dark water as they fled, leaving me to die in the Pacific's vast emptiness. The cold shocked me first, squeezing the air from my lungs. I fought panic, forcing my mind to focus through fear and adrenaline. I had to reach the surface. Kicking hard, my lungs screaming, I broke through, gasping desperately into the night air. The yacht was already 100 yards away, its lights vanishing. I thought about screaming, but the engines were too loud, and only my killers knew I was here. Treading water, I scanned the horizon by moonlight. Nothing but endless ocean, no land, no boats, just black water meeting a starry sky. Reality sank in. Alone, 100 miles from shore, at night. My mind raced with grim stats, survival time in 60-degree water, shark risks, dehydration odds. Hope was slim, but I had a secret edge they didn't know. I was a college swimmer, not elite, but strong enough for a partial scholarship alongside my 3 jobs. I had skills and endurance, plus my hasty preparations. I reached for my waterproof pouch and activated the GPS beacon. Its tiny light blinked, but would anyone see it out here? To survive, I had to save energy. Hypothermia would kill me faster than exhaustion. I switched to a gentle backstroke, keeping my face above water with minimal effort. Floating under the stars, I felt shock, rage, fear, and a fierce will to live, to see justice. Hours dragged on. My teeth chattered, my limbs numbed, but I kept moving. I recalled a survival course from a work retreat, led by Jack, a former Navy SEAL. Your mind quits before your body, he'd said. Survive 1 minute, then another. I clung to that. I kept going, 1 breath, 1 stroke, 1 star at a time. The night felt endless, but dawn crept in faintly. The sun brought a new threat, dehydration. I swam on, praying for any sign of help. Mid-morning, I saw something floating 50 yards away. It was a yacht cushion, likely from our struggle. A lifeline. I grabbed it, letting my tired muscles rest while it kept me afloat. The day blurred, sun, thirst, fading hope. After nearly 20 hours, I heard a faint motor. A hallucination? No, a fishing boat, half a mile off. I waved the cushion and screamed, my throat raw. The boat didn't stop. Desperate, I triggered my beacon's emergency strobe, saving its battery till now. The weak light flickered, but the boat turned. They'd seen me. As it neared, I saw 2 men, a middle-aged one and a younger, maybe his son. They gaped as they pulled up. Dios mío, the older one said. A woman out here. Help, I rasped, voice wrecked from salt water and screams. Please. They hauled me onto their boat, Morning Light, its name faded on the bow. The younger man wrapped me in a blanket. The older one, Captain Luis Rivera, asked in Spanish and English, "How'd you get here?" "Where's your boat?" Too weak to tell the truth, I mumbled, "Accident. Fell off a yacht." Rivera and his son, Marco, swapped doubtful looks. "A lone woman this far out?" "No boats here in 2 days," Marco said. I shut my eyes, too drained to argue. Rivera focused on helping me. "Rest, Senora. Questions later." Marco, water, slowly, and the first aid kit. For hours, as the boat chugged toward Mexico, I faded in and out. They treated my sores, gave me water, warmed me up. By evening, I could sit and talk clearer. In the cramped cabin, Rivera's face was stern. "Tell us the real story. We're 12 hours from shore. Police will ask questions." I decided then, these men saved me, but more involvement could endanger them. My death was my advantage. "I'm Angela Winters," I said, using my maiden name. "I was on a yacht with people I trusted. We fought. They pushed me off to die." Rivera's eyes widened. "That's attempted murder. We must tell the police." I shook my head. "I need to handle this my way. They're rich, connected. They'd deny it, and you'd be at risk." "I'll get justice," I promised, resolve growing. "But I need to vanish. Can you get me to shore quietly?" "I'll pay well." Rivera hesitated, but Marco leaned in. "How much?" I named a sum that raised their brows, payable in cash later. After quick Spanish chatter, they agreed. Next morning, we docked at a quiet fishing village. Using my pouch's cash, I paid for a hotel room and gave them a big deposit. "I'll send the rest," I said. "But tell no one you found me." In my hotel room, alone at last, I broke down. Tears hit like a storm, the betrayal's weight crushing me now that survival wasn't my focus. My sister, my husband, the people I trusted most, tried to kill me for my money. When the tears stopped, a sharp clarity took over. Using the hotel's computer, I accessed my emergency email and contacted Jane, my loyal assistant. Her reply came fast, emotional but professional. "Angela, thank God. I opened your envelope yesterday when you didn't call. I was frantic. Derek and Vanessa returned 2 days ago, saying you fell overboard at night. Search and rescue stopped this morning." Derek gave a tearful press conference. "What do you need?" Their plan was unfolding perfectly. I was presumed dead, and they were set to claim my fortune. I sent Jane a careful reply, asking for secure communication, access to my hidden funds, and total secrecy about my survival. For a week, recovering in that coastal town, I watched news of my tragic accident on the hotel TV. Derek played the grieving husband flawlessly, his voice cracking as he spoke of finding me gone. Vanessa stood beside him, eyes puffy, the image of a broken sister. "Angela was our everything," she told reporters, wiping tears. "I can't go on without her. Their act was perfect." If I hadn't heard their murder plot or felt Vanessa's shove into the ocean, I might have believed them. Within a week of my death, they announced Vanessa would inherit my fortune and Derek would control my business interests. Their speed confirmed their yacht talk. This was planned long ago. Watching them steal my life's work, a cold fury burned in me. This wasn't just about surviving anymore, it was about justice. With Jane's help, I built a trusted team: Theodore Winters, my lawyer who never liked Derek, Olivia Chin, my cybersecurity expert from Neurosync, and Martin Reeves, the investigator who exposed Derek's past. From my Mexican hideout, I planned my comeback, not as a victim, but as their undoing. My tiny hotel room became mission control. I dyed my hair black, wore sunglasses indoors, and used the alias Patricia Lane. No one linked the sunburned loner to the dead tech billionaire. My team met virtually through Jane's encrypted channels. This isn't revenge, I told them via laptop camera. I won't become like them. This is about justice and stopping them from hurting others. Theodore, his silver hair stern on my screen, nodded. This is attempted murder, but we need solid proof. Martin chimed in. I've tracked them since they returned. They're spending your money, Angela, cars, jewelry, and Aspen Vacation home deposit. Olivia, her blue-streaked hair framing a serious face, added, Derek's researching countries without extradition. They plan to move big money offshore soon. My resolve hardened. We work backward, I said. We need proof of their plot before the yacht, their current fraud, and, if possible, the murder attempt itself. Over 3 weeks, we executed our plan. Theodore found fake signatures in their post-death filings. Martin uncovered Derek's dark past. 2 ex-girlfriends died in accidents, he said. Both rich, both last seen with him. No charges, but the pattern's clear. He's a serial killer, Jane whispered, shaken. A specific kind, I said. He targets rich women, and Vanessa's his accomplice because Mile needed a family heir. Olivia's find was a bombshell. She recovered deleted texts and emails from over a year ago, before my marriage. Check this from 14 months back, she said, sharing a text chain. Derek, she said yes to the engagement. Vanessa, of course. She always chased what she couldn't have, love. Derek, be nice. She's our fix, your debt's gone. Vanessa, how long? Derek, until the company sells. Then, an accident. Vanessa, I can wait for a billion reasons. Their cold plot to kill me made me sick, but it fueled my fire. Every kiss, every I love you, was a lie from the start, all for my death. Jane handled the trickiest part, prepping the mansion for my return. Using contractors who thought they were installing a homeowner gift, she set up high-tech surveillance and a remote security system I could control. It's ready, she said in our final meeting. They're back from Europe Thursday night. 3 months after they pushed me into the Pacific, I was set to face my would-be killers. I flew to California with fake IDs from Olivia, my look changed enough to avoid recognition. That night, I entered my mansion through a Secret Service door, using biometrics Derek never reset. His arrogance was my way in. Walking the dark halls, my old home felt alien, stained by betrayal. Vanessa had swapped my art for tacky pieces. In the master bedroom, her clothes filled my closet, her makeup on my vanity. They didn't even fake grief for long. In the dining room, I set a table for 3 fine china, wine glasses, and a wrapped box holding 3 months of evidence. I waited, watching the security feed on my tablet. Derek and Vanessa rolled in past midnight, drunk and bickering. They froze in the foyer, seeing lights I'd left on. Did you leave these on? Vanessa slurred. Derek, suddenly sharp, said, no. Stay here. He checked rooms cautiously, Vanessa trailing despite his orders. Their unease grew when my choice of Derek's favorite jazz album played softly. Someone's here, he whispered, pulling her behind him, his protective act hollow knowing his true self. They reached the dining room, stopping at the side of the table, 3 settings, crystal glasses, and the gift box. What is this? Vanessa hissed, gripping Derek's arm. That was my moment. I stepped from the shadows, wearing the same outfit from that fateful yacht night, my hair back to its natural brown. Welcome home, I said coolly. I've been waiting. Their faces paled. Derek stumbled back, nearly toppling Vanessa. They stood speechless, eyes wide with fear. This can't be, Derek stammered. You're dead. We saw you drown. You saw me fall, I corrected. Assuming I drowned was your big mistake. Vanessa let out a choked gasp, almost a scream. You're not real. This isn't happening. I stepped into the chandelier's glow. I'm very real, Vanessa. Unlike you, I'm not here to kill. I'm here with a gift. Derek's eyes darted, calculating. Angela, thank God you're alive. We thought we lost you in an accident. Stop, I snapped. Don't insult me. I heard your murder plan. I felt Vanessa's push off the yacht. I know it all. Vanessa's shock turned defiant. You've got no proof. It's your word against ours. Everyone thinks you're gone. I gave a cold smile that made them flinch. That's why I brought a gift. I pointed to the box on the table. Open it. Derek crept forward, wary, as if it might explode. In a way, it would. He opened it, his face twisting in horror. Inside was my evidence, a waterproof camera from the yacht, recording their plot to drug and stage my accident, a flash drive with their emails and texts from before my marriage, plotting my murder for money, financial records of their fraud since my death, and signed arrest warrants for attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud, secured by Theodore's legal work. Impossible, Derek whispered, hands shaking as he sifted through the papers. Very possible, I said, with a loyal team unlike you two. Vanessa lunged for the box, desperate to snatch the evidence. I was ready. A tap on my phone locked the dining room doors. Police are outside, I said, with FBI agents, since your crimes cross state lines. I just signaled them. Derek's mask fell, revealing a predator. He flipped the heavy table at me, dishes crashing, and rushed a side door. It was locked, all exits were, except where police waited. He spun back, grabbing a knife from the floor's debris. Think you're smart? He snarled, advancing. If I'm done, so are you, for good. I held my ground. I planned for everything, Derek. As he lunged, a hidden door opened. Martin and two security experts tackled him, disarming him swiftly. Vanessa collapsed, sobbing, rocking on the floor. It was his idea, she wailed. He forced me, Prissy. I didn't want to hurt you. I stared at my sister, once my closest family, now a broken mess betraying her partner to save herself. You whispered say hello to the sharks as you pushed me, I said calmly. Was that his idea? She only cried harder, no answer. Police stormed in, cuffing them as they read their rights. Derek fought, shouting threats. Vanessa went limp, pleading to anyone listening. As they were dragged away, I stood in my reclaimed home, amid the wreckage of our clash. Victory felt empty. I'd survived, stopped their greed, and justice was coming. But my trust in those I loved was gone. Yet, amid shattered glass and betrayal, I felt freedom. I'd faced the worst and lived. What was left to fear? Silence lingered after they were taken. The dining room, once warm with family dinners, was now chaos, mirroring our broken bonds. Crystal shards caught the chandelier's light, casting rainbows like cruel irony. FBI agent Lawson approached, her face calm but eyes respectful. Miss Winters, we need your statement, but it can wait till tomorrow if you're not ready. I nodded, drained as adrenaline faded. Tomorrow's better. I need a moment. After police left with the evidence, I stood with Martin, Jane, and the security team. The house felt vast, empty, yet suffocating with memories. Don't stay here tonight, Jane urged softly. I booked a hotel suite, clean clothes, everything. I agreed, too tired to resist. Walking to the car, Martin updated me. No bail for them, too risky. Hearings in 48 hours. Jane's hotel suite was a blank slate, free of betrayal. I showered for an hour, trying to rinse away the day's scars. Later, in a plush robe, I met my team in the suite's living room. What's next? Olivia asked, her tech confidence shaken by human drama. Now, I said, we brace for the media storm. Theodore's freezing their stolen assets. And I start rebuilding. Sleep was tough, but not from fear, possibilities kept me up. The trusting Angela Winters was gone, dead in a way. Who would I become now? Morning brought the expected media frenzy. My return from the dead and their arrests for attempted murder sparked chaos. Theodore's statement confirmed I was alive, with legal action underway, asking for privacy, impossible with this story. News outlets, talk shows, and podcasts begged for interviews. Social media buzzed with hashtag #BackFromTheDead and hashtag #BillionDollarBetrayal. Old photos of us at events were picked apart. Through Theodore, I chose one honest journalist for an interview to shape the story and find peace. They underestimated you, the journalist said. Their biggest mistake? I thought of the ocean's dark hours. They saw only my money, not me, my skills, my fight. They lost to the parts of me they ignored. The preliminary hearing was a spectacle. I wore a navy suit, poised, unflinching. Derek glared with raw hatred. Vanessa couldn't look at me. The evidence crushed them. The Yacht recording of their murder plot was brutal. Their old texts showed years of planning. Financial records proved fraud before and after my death. Bail was denied. As they were led off, Vanessa glanced at me, her face a mix of shame, anger, maybe regret. I gave nothing back, no hate, no forgiveness, just the steady look of someone beyond her reach. Outside the courthouse, reporters shouted, asking how it felt to face my would-be killers. I paused before the car. Justice isn't healing, I said. Today was justice. Healing's my private path. The months after were packed with court battles. Derek and Vanessa turned on each other, each blaming the other to save themselves. With our evidence and their betrayals, the prosecution's case was rock solid. I started reclaiming my life. The mansion felt toxic, so I left it for a sleek, secure apartment by the bay. Its open design and glass walls were a stark contrast to the secrets I'd endured. Coming back from the dead was a legal maze, undoing death certificates, unfreezing accounts, restoring my identity. Theodore handled most of it. Ironically, he said during a long signing session, their rush to grab your money left some transfers incomplete, making this easier. 9 months after that night, the trials ended. Derek, the cunning mastermind with a history of suspicious deaths, was sentenced to 30 years without parole for attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud. Vanessa, my sister, got 18 years, her sentence lighter for her lesser role and eventual cooperation with prosecutors. I sat in the courtroom for the sentencing, needing to close that chapter of my life. As Vanessa was led away in handcuffs, she turned, her voice cracking. Angela, I'm sorry, not for getting caught, but for it all. I know you'll never forgive me. I stayed silent, the wounds too raw for words. The heavy courtroom doors shut behind her, sealing off that part of my past. That night, in my new bayfront apartment, I watched the ship's lights dance across the dark water, each charting its own path through the night, much like we all do in life. My phone buzzed with a message from Luis Rivera, the fisherman who pulled me from the Pacific's grip. I'd funded his son Marco's college education as a thank you. Saw the sentencing on the news, he wrote. The ocean let you go for a reason. You've got more to do in this world. Gazing at the bay, tears fell, not from pain, but from a deep release. I'd survived the icy ocean and the colder sting of betrayal by those I loved most. Whatever came next, I'd face it on my own terms, guided by stars I chose myself. A year later, I stood on a modest chartered yacht, far from the gaudy azure dream that nearly became my tomb. The Pacific sparkled under the morning sun, those same waters that tried to claim me now calm and inviting. I wasn't a victim anymore, I was the captain of my own story. You sure about this? Jane asked, leaning against the railing. She'd been my rock through every storm. I need to face it, I said, checking the GPS for the exact spot where I'd been thrown overboard. Not to relive the pain, but to rewrite how this story ends. The trials had been a media frenzy, a chilling tale of greed and betrayal that gripped the public. Derek's past prompted authorities to reopen cases of 2 ex-girlfriends' accidental deaths, now glaringly suspicious. Vanessa's tearful courtroom claims of being manipulated by Derek fell apart against evidence of her eager participation. I watched the legal saga unfold like a distant drama, keeping the pain at arm's length to survive. Recovery was far from linear. Nightmares of sinking into dark water jolted me awake, my heart racing. The sound of a boat engine or unexpected footsteps behind me could trigger panic, my body reliving that night on the yacht. 3 months after the sentencing, Theodore urged me to see Dr. Elena Ramirez, a therapist specializing in trauma. She helped me unpack not just the terror of nearly drowning but the deeper scar of broken trust. Betrayal by those we love cuts the deepest, she said during a tough session. Your experience is extreme, but the wound is one many share. Her words ignited a spark. I founded the Phoenix Trust, a foundation to support victims of financial crimes and personal betrayal. It provided legal aid, therapy, and emergency funds for those escaping manipulative relationships, especially those entangled in financial abuse. Why Phoenix? A reporter asked at the foundation's launch. Rising from ashes isn't a myth, I answered. It's painful, necessary work, and no one should have to do it alone. The Phoenix Trust became my passion, transforming my suffering into a lifeline for others. My approach to business shifted dramatically. I stepped away from running companies and became an angel investor, funding startups led by women and minorities who often struggled to secure capital. My ordeal had opened my eyes to systemic power imbalances, and I wanted to level the playing field. Rebuilding personal connections was harder. The betrayal shattered my trust, leaving me guarded. I leaned on a small, loyal circle, Jane, Olivia, Martin, and Theodore, who'd stood by me through the darkest days. New friendships formed slowly, kept at a cautious distance until I could believe in them. 6 months after the sentencing, I made a gut-wrenching decision. I requested a prison visit with Vanessa. Theodore thought it was a mistake, warning it could reopen wounds. Dr. Ramirez supported it, suggesting it might offer closure if I kept my expectations realistic. In the stark prison visitation room, under the watchful gaze of corrections officers, Vanessa looked like a shadow of herself. Her loose prison uniform and unstyled appearance replaced her former glamour. When I entered, her eyes widened with shock. She'd begged to see me multiple times. This was the first time I'd agreed. Angela, she said, her voice trembling, thank you for coming. I sat across from her, holding her gaze in silence, waiting. I've had a lot of time to think, she said, her hands fidgeting. My therapist says I need to own what I did, no excuses. That's what I'm trying to do. She took a shaky breath. I betrayed you in the worst way possible. No apology can ever make it right, but I'm truly sorry. Why? I asked, the single word carrying every question, why me? Why murder? Why destroy our family? Her composure broke, tears welling up. I was jealous my whole life. You were always the smart one, building something real, something lasting. My charm, my looks, it was all shallow, and I knew it. When Derek came to me with his plan, it felt like a chance to finally have power over you. She wiped her eyes. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted with myself. Derek approached you first? I pressed, noting the contradiction with her court testimony claiming he manipulated her later. She nodded, unable to meet my gaze. Before he even met you, he researched successful women in tech and chose you. He needed a family member in your will and offered me a cut of the money. I said yes without hesitating. That's who I was. Her use of past tense suggested she saw herself as changed, or maybe it was another act. I couldn't be sure. The hardest part, I said, keeping my voice steady, wasn't almost drowning or even the betrayal itself. It was realizing that in all our years as sisters, through every time I helped you, every holiday we shared, you never saw me as a person, just a resource to exploit. Tears streamed down her face. I know. I can't undo it. I'll be 60 when I get out of here. All I can do is try to become someone better than the person who did those things. I stood, having gotten what I came for, not forgiveness or closure, but confirmation that her actions stemmed from her own emptiness, not my flaws. At the door, I paused and turned. I don't hate you, Vanessa. That would take energy I'm not willing to give. I hope you become the person you're trying to be. But we'll never be family again. Her sob echoed as I walked out, but it didn't follow me. For the first time, I felt truly free of her betrayal's weight. On my yacht, standing at the exact spot where I was thrown into the sea, I completed another step in my healing. I brought white roses, one for each month of my recovery. One by one, I dropped them into the water, watching them drift on the current. This isn't about forgiveness, I told Jane and the small group of friends who joined me. It's about taking back this place, my strength, and the people who helped me survive. I held the final rose a moment longer. This one's for the trusting woman who died in these waters, I said. I honor her memory, but I'm not her anymore. I've grown stronger. As the rose floated away, a hard-won peace settled over me, not the innocence of before, but the serenity of a survivor who'd rebuilt from ashes. Back on land, I forged a new life. The Phoenix Trust expanded across the country, helping thousands escape dangerous situations with legal support, therapy, and financial aid. My investments fueled dozens of startups led by women and minorities, giving voice to innovators often ignored by traditional funding systems. I built cautious but genuine friendships, creating a chosen family to replace the one I'd lost. 2 years after that night, I published After the Fall, Rebuilding When Your Foundation Crumbles. The memoir connected me with countless others who'd faced their own betrayals, cheating partners, deceitful friends, abusive family members. Its success led to speaking engagements where I shared my journey, not as a victim but as someone who'd faced the worst and emerged whole, forever changed but unbroken. At a Phoenix Trust event, I spoke to a room of survivors. Trust can shatter in an instant, I told them, but you can rebuild it deliberately, with boundaries and evidence. That kind of trust, earned rather than given blindly, creates connections stronger than any I had before. I haven't dated or remarried yet. Some scars heal slower than others. But I remain open, refusing to let Derek and Vanessa steal the possibility of future joy along with everything else they tried to take. Standing on my yacht today, the ocean is no longer just the place where I nearly died. It's where I was reborn, carried by the waves to Luis and Marco Rivera, to a second chance, to the person I'm still becoming. Life offers no promises against betrayal or loss. People we love can become strangers overnight. Foundations we thought solid can crumble beneath us. But we always have the power to rebuild from whatever remains. What's your story of resilience? Have you rebuilt after a betrayal or loss that felt impossible to overcome? Share it in the comments below. Every tale of survival lights the way for someone still lost in the dark. If my journey resonates, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need a reminder of their own strength. Thank you for witnessing my story. Our greatest power often shines only after we've been broken. The trials didn't just end a chapter, they reshaped my world. The media frenzy turned Derek and Vanessa into infamous figures, their faces plastered across news outlets and dissected on true crime podcasts. Every detail, the yacht's layout, their motives, my survival, became fodder for endless analysis. I stayed away from most of it, but fragments crept in, headlines speculating about my emotional state, old colleagues praising my resilience in resurfaced interviews. It felt strange to be a public figure without choosing it. Reclaiming my identity was a bureaucratic ordeal. Undoing a death certificate, unfreezing accounts, and proving I was alive took months. Every bank visit, every signature, felt like convincing the world I wasn't a ghost. Theodore's legal team handled the heavy lifting, but I still spent weeks unraveling the financial chaos Derek and Vanessa left behind. The mansion, once my sanctuary, became a house of ghosts. I sold it, donating half the proceeds to the Phoenix Trust. My new apartment, with its clean lines and panoramic bay views, was a deliberate fresh start, a space free of betrayal's lingering shadows. Therapy with Dr. Ramirez became my anchor. She guided me through the layers of trauma, the terror of sinking into the Pacific, the shock of betrayal, and the guilt I hadn't expected for not seeing their true natures sooner. Their choices aren't your fault, she told me. Your strength was in surviving, not in predicting their darkness. The Phoenix Trust grew beyond my wildest hopes. We partnered with shelters, legal aid groups, and mental health organizations across the country. Letters poured in from survivors, people who'd escaped abusive partners or manipulative families, their stories echoing pieces of my own. Reading their words, I found purpose in their gratitude, a reminder that my pain could fuel change. Investing became my way of rewriting the future. I sought out founders with bold visions but little access to capital, women coding in garages, immigrants building apps to solve real problems. Their drive reminded me of my early days at Neurosync, when every line of code was a step toward something bigger. Supporting them felt like planting seeds for a fairer world. Friendships were harder to rebuild. The betrayal left me skittish, reading deceit into every kind gesture. Jane, Olivia, Martin, and Theodore became my foundation, their loyalty proven in the fire of my ordeal. New connections formed slowly, but when they did, they were real, built on mutual respect rather than blind trust. Visiting Vanessa was a decision I wrestled with for weeks. I didn't want to forgive her, but I needed to understand. Her words in that prison room, her lifelong jealousy, her shame, confirmed what I'd sensed. Her betrayal came from her own brokenness, not my shortcomings. Walking away, I felt lighter, unburdened by her shadow for the first time. On the yacht, facing those waters again, I wasn't just healing, I was redefining myself. The roses I dropped into the sea weren't for Derek or Vanessa but for the parts of me I'd lost and reclaimed. Each one marked a month of growth, a testament to choosing life despite the scars. Writing after the fall was a leap of faith, bearing my soul to the world. But it struck a chord, drawing letters from readers who'd survived their own betrayals, infidelity, deceit, abuse. Their stories fueled my speeches, where I urged audiences to see betrayal as a beginning, not an end. I still carry the weight of that night in the ocean, but it's lighter now. The water that tried to drown me also taught me to swim, literally and figuratively. Luis and Marco were my first proof that kindness persists, even in the darkest moments. What's your resilience story? Have you rebuilt after a crushing betrayal or loss? Share below. Every survival tale lifts others in the dark. If my journey moved you, like, subscribe, and share with someone needing their own strength. Thanks for hearing my story. Remember, our greatest power often shines after we're broken.